Hi, welcome to Entrepreneurs Connect. This is Miss Pat Idisi, and I'm really excited to be here with this amazing young man. Can we meet you, please?
Yeah, my name is Samuel Olatunde. I'm the co-founder and chief operating officer of Edala.
Edala, it's a really inspiring startup. They've started and they've already gone places, and they're even going further. It's my honor to have Samuel Olatunde to be with me on this show today and to give us his audience. Want to meet him, want to learn some lessons from him, want to hear his entrepreneurial story. At Entrepreneurs Connect, we believe that everyone has a unique and inspiring story that needs to be told, and we're going out there to meet entrepreneurs that are not already in the limelight, but they are doing really remarkable and great things, and so that you can meet them and see that even you, wherever you are in your corner, your story needs to be heard and needs to be told. So I have a few questions, and firstly, I would like to know what inspired your passion for entrepreneurship.
So I think to answer that question, I mean, my entrepreneurship journey started as far back as 2013, 2014, right? So not like I started a business at that point in time, but I was exposed to somebody that ran a business. So I had the opportunity to work with somebody that ran a bakery, right? So I saw firsthand how the guy does the stuff from, procurement to, managing a business, dealing with customers. And I was in that value chain for about 2 years. And then I saw, the movement of money, how he paid people and a lot of things. So he was doing well for himself, right? So I learned, it was just fresh out of secondary school, and I got into that particular field, right? Not by choice, right? But because I wanted to do something at that time, and my mom basically, pushed me to that particular track. And yes, that's basically how I stumbled upon entrepreneurship, and then down the line.
Beautiful, and that's really remarkable. And I saw that you mentioned your mom, and that brings us to the next question. How did your upbringing and your family background help to build your business mindset?
Okay, basically I come from a very humble background. So when I say humble, I have 4 siblings alongside my parents. So that's 6 of us. We used to live in Agege. Yeah, so we're living like a face me and face you, all this kind of property. Yeah. So that's where we live. So that's where I grew up from. I went to public schools. So it wasn't rosy, right? But my parents tried their best to do their best to provide us education, even though we went to public schools. But then I would say that they tried their best to ensure that we get the best of what they could afford, and I give them kudos for that. And right from time I go out, I see people, I see places, I see things, I see how people do stuff, and I knew right from time that I was firstborn, right? So I knew right from time that if I don't work hard, right, it's back to Agege.
Yeah.
So I got into school, and I did all my best to ensure that I was always not disturbing them at home. That was where I started launching different businesses from the experience I had working with someone that ran a business, right? So all of those things. So basically my motivation is that I don't want to go back to Agege.
Yeah.
Right. So I've seen what it takes to be here. So I want to be here.
Okay.
So that's just basically it. Yeah.
Drove your ambition. Beautiful. I love the fact that you did not see your background as a limitation or take it for an excuse.
Yeah.
Rather, you said, no, I don't want to be here. So what can I do to get out of this place where I am? And you, instead of doing the blame game, you took the responsibility. Beautiful. So now that you are in business, what problems do you aim to solve as an entrepreneur?
Like I said, I'm in real estate, and the major challenge of real estate is accommodation, right? Providing accommodation to people, and providing affordable accommodation to people, and providing affordable opportunities, or should I say opportunities for people to invest in real estate. So real estate is dynamic, right? And then there are several value chains. So what we try to do is ensure that across the value chains that we play in, we want to provide quality service. So first of all, like I said, accommodation. We want to ensure that we create the best of spaces, right, for people to live in at the best possible prices that they should pay for it. So we do that through our apartment, right? So right now we are working on a project in Monia Ibadan to provide people an easy entry into real estate investment, right? Through buying of land, right, in an organized estate setting, right? So that's another thing that we are doing. One of the other problems that we are solving is ensuring that people that have money, a lot of money to invest, are able to put their money in places that, in real estate, of course, that will drive value and then give them returns, right? So we do that on the side as well, and then as well as as a real estate advisory services. And then along the way, we ensure that we build a team of strong individuals. Like everybody in this office now, at some point, I know that they came in with maybe zero knowledge about real estate, and right now I can say for a fact that everybody across the value chain that they work in with us, has improved, right? So it's very important as well. So on the side, we like to invest in people.
You would like to invest in people. Beautiful. I love that. What's the most significant obstacle you faced in business, and how did you overcome it?
If I say funding, it would be cliche, right? But I will tell you for a fact that in real estate, it's very difficult to get into profitable investment, right? You have to do a lot of work, a lot of calculations, whether you're developing, whether you're trying to buy a piece of property. So making those decisions, right, and when you need to make those decisions are very difficult. So aside the fact that for every real estate company, I can tell for a fact that funding is a very major concern, right? So I would say specifically one of the major concerns that we had is at some point when we were growing the company, we wanted to get into a project. So we were trying to raise a particular amount of money. Spoke to investors. It felt like a mirage, right? We did all our best that we could, right? And of course, I would also say the factor of God. God came through, and then it all fell in place. But I'll tell you that those times were really, really trying times, right? We would go on months, trying to get something done, especially access to funding, and it would look very bleak, right? So that's the biggest challenge of real estate companies face, right? And we've had our own fair share as well.
Of it. Beautiful. I think funding is one of the biggest problems that entrepreneurs face, and because it's a problem that cuts across board. As an entrepreneur, that's why you're an entrepreneur. You have to find this solution, find a way to break through that funding problem, because I'm sure everybody watching this video can say at one point they had that issue of funding. But I think that depends on how creative you are. That's where entrepreneurship comes in. Your creativity would help you to find a way to break through. And like you said, the God factor too, we cannot underestimate it. Right now we can see you. I'm sure when I walked into this office, I was like, wow, I was really impressed. What changed the trajectory of your real estate story? Being that you started from an humble beginning, but what changed the trajectory of your business? What just turned your story around from that humble guy in Agege?
So first of all, I would say people, right? So I think I have the brightest of minds on my team. That's number one. I have a very wonderful co-founder as well. That's Temidayo. And when we started the business, it was just two of us, and all of the things that we did, all of the things that we are doing right now, it was we did a lot of pay cuts. When I say pay cuts, there are months where the business makes money, right, but we don't earn money. And then the priority for us at several points in time was the business, right? So even right now we still invest about 90% of what the business makes back into the business, right, in certain value chains. So it is paramount for us because we have a growth trajectory in mind, and because of the growth trajectory, we sort of know what it takes to get us to that level. So instead of waiting for people to come and give us money, right, every money we make, we put it back into the business, right? So that's why people think that we are growing so fast, but it's just that basic mathematics, right? And then
we are
where we are right now. Yeah.
All right. So have there been any time where you had a project that you failed, and how did you handle it?
Project failed. So
Maybe, yeah.
okay, in real estate, yeah, there are challenging times, and specifically one of the challenges you can have in real estate is delivery, right? You project that you're running a project, you want to deliver this project in, let's say, 6 months, right, or say 8 months, and then something happens along the line, inflation happens, your projections, I mean, you project that you're going to spend maybe say 200 million naira on a project, and then you end up spending 300 million, and
Yeah.
you already sold to people, with the aim of a cost of 200 million, and you can't go back to them to say, right? So
Price has changed.
things like that, you really stop project. And then sometimes, when clients are not, or should I say, when developers are not, you know very risk effective, when they're not effective in their risk mechanism, they tend to fall into those things. So we've had some of our projects with other developers, fall into that climb, and then we have to always step in as intermediaries to manage expectations from clients and assist the developers wherever possible in terms of funding, access to more funds, restructuring the project, ensuring that it doesn't need negative balance sheet for them, and also they are motivated to deliver, and some other things like that. But then on our own project, I will say for a fact that um rock bottom would always be funding, right? One of the reasons why I say that is, I believe that on the team we have we have capable minds, right? I mean for a fact that I'm in finance, I understand a bit of finance, so we could always assess the risk, right? So the major thing is, in real estate, projects fail because of funding and inflation, right? And we've also had a fair share, we've been part of all of these things, and then the most important thing is to build a structure to get out of it, right? And then we have done that a couple of times.
All right, beautiful. Thank you so much. What have been your most significant achievements to date?
Yeah, so if I say this now, it will sound cliche, but I think my most significant achievement is, is a business that started with a team of two people, two co-founders with a dream, and has expanded into, 15 of us actively in the office alongside other consultants that we work with on our projects. So I think that's the biggest milestone for me, to be able to keep 15 people closely, and then we are all working together towards a particular goal, right? So for me, money is not the most anyone could achieve. Money can disappear today. You can make money, and then like I said, it's not even money, because all the money we make goes
It
back
goes back
into,
into the
exactly.
business.
So it's the fact that what you're seeing, right, what you're building grows, and then you can see the impact. You can count, oh, this is the number of apartments we've delivered, this is the number of people that we have housed, this is the number of this amount of money we make in returns for our clients, this is the number of apartments under management that we have with us, and so on and so forth. So those are numbers that I would say are achievements. So right now we have about 100 apartments under management that we receive rent from, and we launched a 30-acre project in Monia Axis in Ibadan, right? That's going to grow into 50-acre. So we also help our clients generate returns. We're launching a new project also very soon, right, in Lagos. So all of these things, like, I can't quantify it because I've not sat down to, because
Yeah.
it's just things that you look at and say, okay, yes, there's progress
Yeah.
compared to 1 year ago. You can measure this progress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. So basically, for you, achieve your what you see as the major achievements you had will be the growth of the business. And for how long has Edala been in existence?
So we became 3 years old in September. September, end of September. So that's our
Three
anniversary. So we
years.
are 3 years old.
Wow, 3 years. In 3 years, you're able to build an institution. You are empowering already. You have 15 staff. That's remarkable. I must say it's really remarkable in the space of 3 years. All right. So that leads us to our next questions. You've already touched it, and that'll be, how do you measure success? What do you see? How do you measure your success?
For me, it's people, right?
People.
The number of the quality people that are around you, right? Because is to start a business, if you have the money, let's say you have everything right to start a business, and you plug it, and then you don't have good people, the business is going to go towards a downward trajectory, And if you don't have money and you have people, the people can go all out and then plug you into places where you can't even get the money, right? But it doesn't work so well vice versa, right? So I'm just very grateful for the quality people that we have in our team that are doing their best to ensure that we get out here, right? So
Yeah, so basically the number of people you can impact
mhm,
in business,
mhm.
that's for you, that's success.
Yeah.
That's great. um what business leaders do you look up to and that you admire?
Okay, so I would say I have a couple I look at, but I will talk about the popular ones, right? And the reason why I want to talk about these guys is I follow them very closely. I follow their projects very closely, and I follow their business habits, right? So number one is Elon Musk, right? I follow him very very closely, and the reason why I follow him very closely is his resilient nature, right? He has seen through the biggest challenges. He has a company that almost went bankrupt, and he has seen it all, and then now he's doing. I mean, it looks like he's doing amazingly well. That's what people see, but you know, deep down, we all know he's working on the next big thing, right? When people praise him for success, he tells you that this is just a part of the
The
bigger
big
picture,
picture.
and the bigger picture is still coming. So that is the mindset that I want to have. And another person is Aliko Dangote, right? So we see this guy in Nigeria. People say that he I mean, especially people say that he is a capitalist. They say that he gets a lot of incentive from the government. But the truth is, if you give the average Nigerian all of the incentive that Dangote has, they would not be able to build what Dangote has built,
True.
right? So we need to also acknowledge the efforts that people like this put into the systems that they build,
Yeah.
right? And then in fact, I mean, in the fact that they're even building something that touches the life of every Nigerian, I mean, with products and services. So that's why I say, these two guys that I talked about now, there are a couple of them, but these two guys I mentioned now, they are resilient, right? They've seen through ups and downs, right? And then their businesses are able to stand. At least these guys are not I mean, for Dangote on his own part, he's not the only person that runs a business in Nigeria and then is incentivized by the government, right? So
That's beautiful. And I'll say that those are the people who inspire the drive and the zeal.
exactly.
Okay, great. How has role models and maybe mentors impacted your journey as an entrepreneur?
So I feel like role models are important. And like I said, my first major point of contact into entrepreneurship was working with someone that was running his business, and I learned closely from him. Although he wasn't directly teaching me, but I learned from him for 2 years. I worked with him for 2 years as well, 2 to 3 years, and I learned the fundamentals of business from him. You know, the fundamentals of business will always be you know servicing the customers, right? And this guy was customer centric, right? If you are building a product or a service for customers, ensure that it solves the actual problem. So that's what I learned. And I also follow mentors closely. I have people that I put a phone call to whenever I need clarity on things, whenever I need to get things done, whenever I need to have a chat. So I have people that fill that void for me. But as well, I also have people that I don't even have access to them, but I learn from
From
them
them.
from afar, right? So mentors are important.
All right, beautiful. What advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs?
So the advice I'll give to you is do 1,000 and expect 100 in results, right? It's not designed to be easy. I mean, if it were easy, I like said it a lot. If it were easy, a lot of people would be able to do it, right? And in fact, that's the essence of entrepreneurship, right? You trying to do what the average person will never be able to do, right? So I mean, solve problems that people have not even fathomed exist, right? Building structures that takes the imagination of a god, right? So that's what I would say to you. Ensure that you own your craft. Ensure that what you're doing it makes sense first of, and then now ensure that it makes business sense,
Beautiful.
right? So yeah.
I love that. Ensure that what you're doing makes sense, and then ensure that it makes business sense. Because it might make sense to you, but doesn't make sense for business. And that's not entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs always want to look out for profits. right? That's the reward of an entrepreneur.
Yeah. But there are social entrepreneurs that are solving problems they may not get money from it. But it's very important to note that whatever you're doing, you need to be able to say, okay, this is the result. So I'll give you an example. When we had the era of social media, when Facebook came in, when Instagram came in, these guys were actually solving problems. They were solving problems for people to connect with each other seamlessly, but they were solving problems for people to be able to express themselves online on the internet. And then at several points in time, they were not making money, right? So it was when the social media platforms introduced adverts into their platform. That was when they started making money. But they actually were solving problems. But the ability to convert their solution into a money making mechanism is why we are all here. Yeah. So once you focus on a problem and you're solving it, imagine you're solving a problem for 1 billion people, right? And you are just waiting for the perfect time to milk money from them. You make them comfortable on your platform, and then they can't do without it. And then you create an avenue for people to connect, and then you make money off it.
Yeah. So basically, try and start well.
Yeah.
Then
start first. Focus on the problem before the money.
Yeah.
But also have it in mind that you're doing it for an economic benefit.
Yeah. Very, very true and remarkable. Are there any skills or knowledge that you wish you had before you started out?
Skills and knowledge I wish I had. So I feel like when starting your entrepreneurship journey, you if you know everything you need to start. If you know from beginning every skill you need to start, you already started too late. That's number one.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because it's always a learning curve, right? Every step of the way you realize, okay, this is what I need to learn for this next phase. And the ability to ensure to recognize that there's a learning void somewhere. So it makes you grow faster.
Okay.
Right. So but at the beginning you never know you need to start. So you just know, okay, for this first phase, for as long as I can see, this is what I need to know, this is what I need to be, and plug into that. So when you get to another bridge, you realize that, oh, now I think I need to know this. I think I need to expand my team into this. I think I need to put my focus into this. I think I need to learn something new. I think I need to start working with people like this, right? So you can never know it all. But at the basic, I know how to sell myself. It's very important. At the beginning, you should know. You can't be an entrepreneur and be shy. You can't be an entrepreneur and say you're an introvert. And maybe you're an introvert, but you should know how to take off the introvert coat when you need to take off the introvert coat.
True.
Right. So those are the basic things. Communication skills, the ability to communicate your value, your solutions, what you sell is very, very important, right? And this is every other thing you can learn. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, thank you so much. What's your vision for the next 5 to 10 years?
5 to 10 years is a long time, and the world is going to change a lot in 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
But as far as I can see, there's a big goal for 5 to 10 years, and I will tell you for a fact that everybody that plans 5 to 10 years their plans always change. They always tweak it, right? But I can say, okay, my goal for the next 2 years, which is much more foreseeable, you can still control a bit of things, is to build Edala Homes to a point where me particularly, I am chief of operations right now. In 2 years, I don't want to be chief of operations. I want to build somebody that can fill this role. So for me to do that, it means that I would have impacted a number of people, and the business will have other needs, right? Because the structure is to grow into a group company. And when I say group company, we have a lot of subsidiaries. So we have Edala Development, Edala Homes itself. We have Lodge and Loft that we're launching soon for apartments, and we have Edala.ng, our luxury product. So the goal is to build these businesses to be sustainable, such that they have their own, they have their own processes, they have their own specialized team members, and the goal for that is so that they're able to be more autonomous and solve their own problems directly, right? With little input from me.
Beautiful.
Right? Yeah. So that's the goal.
I can see why in 3 years, right, you who have gotten here, because you are very result oriented, and so like traditionally we'll be looking at, let me plan for 10 years. So you are planning for 1 year, planning for 2 years, and there's no way you won't see the results. So I must give you your flowers. All right, thank you so much for that. How do you plan to scale and expand your business, and what impact do you hope to make through your business?
Okay, so this sounds like more of a long term question,
Yeah.
but the goal is, you know, in 10 years. Now I can talk about 10 years bleak, but in 10 years I want to look back and I will probably be in my late 30s. I want to look back and say this is the number of people that have been financially liberated, through our products. This is the number. I mean, people will look back and say, "Oh, I bought a property from Edala Homes. When I was in my early 20s. I was a student. I was fresh out of school. I squeezed that money, and then that property I bought. Do you know how much I'm selling it now? That's a goal.
Yeah.
Then the other thing is I want to be able to say, oh, look at this person, working here. Look at this person, building this company. Look at this. You don't know him. At some point in time, he had worked with Edala, right? And I want to, create sustainable housing projects. I want to, do businesses on a multinational level. I want to go into economies that are enabling and then build sustainable housing solutions for them. Right. So that's the goal. But I can't say this is a specific thing that must happen right now for that goal to happen. But in 10 years, I want to solve problems on a grander scale.
Yeah.
Right. I want one product to impact 5,000 households. Do you understand? So that's the goal.
Beautiful. And I know you're going to get there.
Amen.
Yeah, so now let's get more personal. How has entrepreneurship impacted your personal life? Because for someone who is really, really zealous about business and growing his craft, there are lots of sacrifices you might have to put in. So how has it impacted your personal life?
So the truth is, unless you are trying to sugarcoat things, the truth is, when you do entrepreneurship on a certain level, right, it gets very crazy. It affects your schedules, it affects your relationship with people, but the ability to create an equitable balance is key. I didn't want to say balance because there's nothing like balance. You can't eat your cake and have it. If I need to work 20 hours a day to get a result, right, you won't compare me to someone that, I mean, if I do it consistently for 6 months, right, and you compare me to someone that does 8 hours a day for 6 months, right, our results will be different. Of course, the person will have more family time, more friends time, more everything time. I would not have the expanse of time that person needs, but in the business I will achieve better results. So it's a trade-off. So just the ability for you as a person to become able to manage things on a grander scale and increase your capacity, right? What the average person will do in 5 hours, I could be able to do in 1 hour, because I've increased my capacity. I learn faster, I look at things faster, I am more comfortable with things. So that on an average day, I am up as early as 5-6 a.m., right? Even if I don't have anything to do, right? In 24 hours I go to the gym, I go to the office, I go to sites, I solve problems, I look for money, I go back home. Most times it's midnight. Sometimes I'm in this office up until 11 p.m. right? I'm the last person in this office. Sometimes I'm the first person in the office, I'm the last person in the office. And the truth is, this is all it takes to build what we are doing at this scale or at this level. And whether you like it or not, people that work with you, they learn from you, right? And I say this, I always like to set a very good example, right? If you work with me and you see what I do, the level of work I put in to achieve something, I become the benchmark, right? If Samuel is here, right, and we all need to get our ends dirty, right? If push comes to shove and then we all need to get our ends dirty while working, I'm the first to get my hand dirty, and my people know it, right? And it's a practice I want to spread across. I'm not the tush boss.
Yeah.
I'm not the right. So there's never a balance, but your ability to ensure that you are sane, right, all through is well. And then sometimes, like I say, we are all human. Sometimes I can take a day off, right, off work. Of course, not totally off work, but I can just decide to step back a bit a day, do something random, maybe once a week or once in 2 weeks, maybe see a movie, which is also difficult to complete every time you try, right? But sometimes something random, like also I put fitness in my schedule because fitness is one of the things that takes me away from work, right? Although calls will come in, but I know that I'm in a space where my focus at that point in time is not work, right? So that's a way to escape work. People think I like to go to the gym, but it's just a way to escape work with a valid reason of escape. So
Beautiful.
that's it.
All right, that's great. Are there any sacrifices you've had to make for your business?
Sacrifices. I make a lot of sacrifices. I'm a small boy because I want my business to be a big business.
Beautiful.
So that's a lot of sacrifice, right? I don't want to talk too deeply about some things, but every day make sacrifices, right? There are times in the business where you need to make a lot of sacrifices. For example, you can't do some things because the business has to do some things, right? You can't. So it's just
Yeah, you can't spend all the profits. You have to reinvest it.
exactly.
And
So
all
that's
that.
I feel like that's the biggest sacrifice that we do here. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Like for entrepreneurship, making sacrifices is something that is really
Paramount.
paramount for us. Yeah. So you've spoke about your work-life balance, that you just need to find a way to be sane in
Be
it
sane,
all.
yes.
But if not,
You
it's
can't
really
attain
hard
balance.
to get the balance. Okay.
You can't be the best in mathematics and have a lot of rent.
Okay.
It's not possible, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So rounding off, if you could have dinner with any of the entrepreneurs, who would you like to meet?
So I would say number one, Elon Musk. He tops my list. Elon Musk, right? Not for anything, just to not to even ask him any question, right? Because I'm not the kind of person that I believe, there's nothing that I would need to know from you that is not publicly out there, right? It will just be a casual conversation, right? Just to get into your space, see how you talk, and then you get to experience your feel and all of those things. But the truth is, a lot of people are under the mirage that they need to be sat down and mentored one-on-one to get things done, right? We're in a world where everything you need to operate is on the internet, right?
Yeah.
And everything you need to achieve results is in actionable steps and not in listening to things, right? It's just that a lot of people are not willing to try something and fail. They're waiting for the perfect, all of the perfect pieces to come together. They're waiting for someone to tell them something, and then someone else tells them, and then they're able to get money before they start. But you need to understand that, if all I have to start right now is 15% of everything I need, I will start, right? And then the truth is, when you start, you get more clarity into things, right? What would normally take you, what would have taken you 1 year to figure out would take you 3 months after starting and realizing, okay, this thing I thought I need, I don't even need it that much. It's not even that important and stuff like that. Yeah. So I won't sit down with Elon Musk, not to discuss business, not to discuss his goals, but just to, have a feel of what it feels like to sit down with him. Yeah. So that's it.
Okay, beautiful. All right, that's an entrepreneur in present day. Okay, how about an entrepreneur
From the past.
that is no more alive?
Okay, I would say Steve Jobs. And this is why I would say Steve Jobs is, when he was alive, people said it was crazy. And when I say crazy, it was very crazy about results. He was very passionate about what he was doing, what he was building, right? To the point that he was an introvert as well. But he was somebody that, if he wanted to get this done, I mean, I saw videos of Steve Jobs in the 1980s. He said they were going to build a computer, right? And the computer, was going to be able to solve the everyday needs. They brought out the box. This is the goal. And they said, this is just the first of the product that it was like a briefcase. It was a computer. And he said their goal is to ensure that they are able to put that computer into something that you can put in your pocket and move around. But how are they going to do it? They don't know yet.
They don't know.
But that's the goal, right? So, it takes an extra level of, reasoning and foresight to see that kind of vision. And today, at least he achieved it before he died. It's the first iPhone series, right? And then we have seen a lot of improvements on that product up to today. But if in the 1980s, 1990s, somebody can visualize that this is going to happen, right? It's only the first step towards, making it happen, because you need to see something, you need to believe that something is possible before, it becomes a reality. Yeah. So Steve Jobs.
Entrepreneurship, that's beautiful. I love the fact that you can see that there is a need to be able to see the future. Like, imagine the unimaginable. See what is possible. Beautiful. All right. What's the best business book you've read?
The best business book I've read. I feel like everybody should. This is cliche, but everybody should read Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's an entrepreneurship book by Robert Kiyosaki. Right. So Rich Dad Poor Dad. It was also my first step towards. Every entrepreneur should read that book. Right. It is very important you read that book, because it speaks about business from a different perspective, and then it is very relatable. I mean, a 15-year-old person could read the book and understand the book. But there are several other books beyond that, 80-20 principle. I think I have it here. Yeah, so these are some of the books I'm reading, but these are much more technical and specialized books. But as a start-out entrepreneur, you need to understand the concept of business. You need to understand the concept of how money works, right? How being an entrepreneur solves problems and the value chain. I feel like the Rich Dad Poor Dad is not. You don't just read it for reading's sake.
Yeah.
Read and implement, right? So, and then there's a cliche that you need to read a lot of things to. The point is, you don't need to read a lot of books, right? You just need to read a few books and ensure that you do meaningful things from the lessons that you have learned. So a lot of people do more observation than doing. They do more listening than doing. They do more reading than doing. But in fact, you should be having more actions than you taking. Yeah. So maybe someday, when you do more actions, you can write a book that people can read.
True. Yeah. So what's your favorite quote or mantra?
Favorite quote or mantra. So it's all centered towards doing. And I said it earlier. I said if it was easy, everybody would be able to do it. Right. So the fact that what you're doing is very difficult means that you are in the upper echelon of things. Right, you're in the category of the few people that are not able to make this happen, and you should persevere, right? That, and then it's only for a short period of time. Yeah.
Thank you. That's it for today. It was really great having you, and we look forward to having more one-on-one chat like this.
I look forward to it as well.
All right. Thank you.
And I wish you success in the events coming up.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
And you
Bye for now.